Yeah, your mortgage is an asset. Just depends on how you know how to pick out houses in a sense. So if you was planning on getting a mortgage, right? My advice to anyone who want to turn their mortgage into an asset, you have to go to a home, right, that's sometimes newly constructed, and you have to research the comps in that area. The comps is how much was the last house sold for, and how much was the highest house sold for in that area. So like you looking for which house sold the lowest, which house sold the highest, and you looking at the zip code of that area. So if you buy a house for 400,000 and it's worth, let's say, 576,000, right? That's $176,000 in the equity line of credit. So if you was to pull 176,000 from an equity line of credit, right, and you was to use that equity line of credit to obtain another mortgage, and you would say if you had four mortgages, now you have to do a month-to-month basis on each mortgage. But the whole time, this mortgage is rent to own. You can set up your own rent to own agreements with the customer. So if a customer wants to buy a house, you like, look, we can set up like this. It's on a rent to own basis. This house 700,000. You can rent to own. You can pay, let's say, $4,000 a month. Say if you don't want to go through a traditional mortgage with a bank, so you like, look, I want to do a rent to own. But if you ever break the agreement, right? If he ever break the agreement with you, you could take the whole house. But y'all agreement where he paid a month-to-month rent every month. He paid every single month. It's in y'all agreement and everything like that. So if he pay you every month, you paying back the mortgage cost. Say if the mortgage was, say if they charge you $3,000 a month, he paid $5,000 a month. That's $2,000 in profit you making, and you paying the banks back. And on top of that, the insurance is paid on the house. The utilities is still paid on the house. The house still gaining equity, so you still pulling the equity from the house. You feel me? So you will set up the full price of the house plus the equity, and you will give that price directly to the consumer. The consumer is paying for the house. You took the equity line of credit out, and you constantly doing this. Like you setting up your table. Because if your mortgage payments is being paid like perfectly, right, and the lender in this case can actually see, okay, now he paying his mortgage off 100%. Let's give him another mortgage. So we give him another mortgage. His income keep growing. Like, so his income went from him making $8,000 a month to him making, let's say, $20,000 a month. So now they grant you another mortgage, and you do the same thing with them. You went to go measure the comps, see how much this house sold for, and you take out the equity line of credit, and you rent the house out, rent to own, or you could just rent it out. You don't have to have a rent to own basis. I just said that because some people want the attention of, hey, can I rent this house out to own? There's nothing wrong with that either. So you have two mortgages, and then you go to the third house. Say if the house worth $800,000, but they want $650,000. So now you have $150,000 in equity in that house. So you're like, okay, you get that house, and then you take the equity line of credit out from your bank. And after you take the equity line of credit out for $150,000, you rent that house out to another potential renters. So they paying $5,000 as well. Now you paying off the mortgage simultaneously while that person renting out the house. So they paying the mortgage fee and they giving you profit. And you going off to the next house and doing the same thing. And then you go to a next house. So that would be clever real estate in the sense of having a mortgage. And the reason why I say that is because it's a higher chance of you getting 7 mortgages than you getting $700,000 in funding. But we're gonna talk about that later. But one house, you got the equity line of credit, you renting it out to own. You get another mortgage, you take out the equity line of credit, you rent it out. Third mortgage, the same thing. Fourth mortgage, the same thing. But your income is constantly growing. So now they seeing you you got $1 million in your account by now. Say if it's $1 million in your account, and you taking out all these mortgage loans, and you constantly renting out the properties because you got good standing credit. Your credit A1. You just keep taking out these mortgages, but you constantly paying everything back. Your payment history is 100%. So now you got 12 accounts on your credit, and these all mortgages. And then they're like, look, you want a personal loan? Yeah, I'll take a personal loan, 100,000. Come on, let's do it again. And you get you 7 more homes. And then you get you more. So you turning that, what people will call a liability, into an asset, because an asset is something that put money in your pocket. A liability takes money from your pocket. So that would be clever real estate in the sense of having a mortgage. Now, this is just for people who might have good credit but not have the best business skills. Some people not in the position to go to Chase, man, I want 2 investment properties. Because guess what? I can tell y'all something crazy. Now, if you went to the bank, you like, look, I want an investment property. They're going to have your ass pay 20% down. So 20% of 500,000, let's say 100, that's 100,000. So $100,000 down. Now, this is the trick. Navy Federal offer ARM mortgages. That means adjustable rate mortgages, 100% financing. So instead of paying $100,000 down, I just pay nothing down and I got a mortgage that I'm getting income from. So your 100,000 is not going to be come back to you until like over a year. Your 100,000 of renting that house out is not coming back until a year just from that house. Because if you charge $5,000 a month, it takes 12 months for that. Yeah, it's going to take 12 months to that $100,000 get made back. 12 months. No, not even 12 months. Don't take that back. My math is off. About 18 months, 18 to 20 months. Yeah, take about 18 to 20 months. Because 10 months, 20 months. So yeah, so 20 months is going almost 2 years. So almost 2 years it's going to take to get all that back, to get $100,000 back. You just invested $100,000 to an investment property. Now your ass gotta wait to start seeing your profit. Your profit ain't gonna come back up to 20 months from then. Versus I just took out an adjustable rate mortgage and now went ahead and got 100% financing. Boom. They financed the thing 100%. Now say if I bought this house for $500,000 and the equity in that house is $200,000. So if it's worth $700,000, I took $200,000 in equity from that house, and on top of that, I'm renting the house out for $5,000 a month. You can't beat that. That's just easy real estate right there. That's easy math. That's not even complicated. So you went ahead and got a mortgage, an adjustable rate mortgage, right? And it might adjust. You can refinance. You know, that's the trick. They even told me when I got my mortgage, right? So you got the adjustable rate mortgage. You got it at 100% financing. The house is worth $700,000, and you pay $500,000 for the house. You took out $200,000 in the equity line of credit. Man, it's just brand new construction. This is brand new construction. So so you put out the ad, I'm renting this house out to own. Rent to own. House 825, right? The house, you got to pay up to 825. They're like, okay. Say if I'm like, okay, I need $10,000 deposit. Now, say if the monthly mortgage rate was $3,500 a month. So I'm like, look, I need $4,200 a month. So $700, right, that you make in profit, and you put the $10,000 deposit down. So that means it can be a non-refundable. It can go towards the rent too. You know, it can go either way. But I'm just saying, you took out the $200,000, and on top of that, you took $10,000 from the person. They renting out the house. And you could have sold that house 10 times. Why they even up in there? But you still stuck to your agreement with that person. So if you got to pay $825, y'all set in stone. But that's what I'm saying. Like that'd be a clever real estate for anybody who want to hop into real estate to get adjustable rate mortgage at 100% financing, rent the house out, and take the equity from the house. I'm out.